G5 Jeff TV and BoxingVlog. Don't know what you're watching it on, but yeah, we're here to for the Okolie versus Cieslak fight. Literally just saw Fabio Woodley put in another impressive performance. A win by a second round stoppage. That was impressive. I mean, I think it's time for him to step up and actually take on some good competition. He's probably one of the bright stars coming out of British boxing in the heavyweight division. Him, Daniel Dubois, and a few others. But I'm really impressed with the performance he put on today. But yeah, that's what we're here for. When you come and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and share. If you're watching it on Boxing First Vlogs channel, go over to G5Jeff TV and subscribe. If you're watching it on G5Jeff TV, go over to BFV and subscribe. Shout out to my bro Adrian Southgate. Adrian, shout out to you, bro. Thanks for being in so quick. I don't know if you're watching the fight, bro, but let me know if you need a link. I got one right here, but it's quite slow. So I'm a little bit behind with the commentary, but as we saw yesterday, I'm gonna get to it regardless, even though the commentary is a bit behind. But I was impressed with Fabio Woodley's performance. He literally just won by a second round stoppage. If you miss me, yeah, he put in a very good performance in the last fight that's come up. I think the next fight should be either Anthony Fowler or Belal. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a massive fan of Anthony Fowler, but his last fight was against Liam Smith, and he put in a performance where he lost, but he fought well, So it'd be interesting to see him come off the back of this loss. Adrian says, yeah, watching on the zone. Yeah, I'm watching on the zone as well. I'm quite slow, so forgive me. Just like with Blunt and ESPN, I struggle with the zone. The zone's always slow for me. I don't know why. Yeah, Fowler coming up. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how he comes back after his defeat. He didn't look that bad against Liam Smith, to be honest. Obviously, defensively, he's always been flawed, but he's a person who lets his hands go when he comes to war, and he's always entertaining. I've never seen Anthony Fowler and thought he was going to be a world beater, you know. So seeing him lose to Smith, sorry, lose to Liam Smith was no surprise to me. But yeah, once you come in and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'm literally trying my best to get this up and running. It's moving extremely slow. Adrian, what did you think of Colbert yesterday? Those in the comments or those in the chat. What did you think of Chris Colbert's performance yesterday and Russell's performance? I thought Russell put in a good performance yesterday. I picked him to win by a knockout. I just didn't expect it to be so. I guess I didn't expect it to be so one-sided. I do think Postal had moments in the fight, but overall, I thought Russell is maturing real well. And that 140 division's got a lot of young dudes coming through. Brandon Lee's one, Russell's one, Montana Love's one. Tiafimo just announced that he's moving up to 140. So it's going to be interesting to see how that division, which is already stacked with fighters like the Zepeda, Josh Taylor, we saw Jack Carroll's definitely going to be a player moving forward. Sandor Martin's still there. You got hopefully he recovers, but someone like Robert Easter Jr., Regis Prograis, that's a division that I'm really looking forward to see the action that's coming from. Oh yeah, and you got Jose Ramirez versus Pedraza, so we got a lot of fighters at 140, and then Chris Colbert, whose fights at 130. He picked up his first career loss yesterday against Garcia. I don't think much people saw that coming, and I don't think people expected to see it so wide. It's such a one-sided fight. And I know Chris Colbert's got skills, but he really got exposed yesterday with the pressure and relentless attack that Garcia came with, and you could clearly see that Garcia could get to his man and he could hurt his man, and coming up to the end of the fight, it looked like at some stages Colbert was in retreat, and he was really in defense mode from probably about the eighth, ninth round. Well done to Garcia for that win. There's a lot of fights at 130 that I'd want to see him in. You still got the Valdez Shakur fight coming up. Him versus Bachelt will be extremely entertaining, to be honest, because two come forward fighters, both fighters can hit hard. I think Garcia's probably got a bit more when it comes to punch resistance, but on the whole, it'll be an entertaining fight. This is moving extremely slow. Uh, him and Bachelt would be fine. Yeah, definitely. I could imagine that fight at 130. Bachelt being an aggressive fighter, Garcia being an aggressive fighter. Both of them could strike. Both of them ain't the greatest defensively. But in terms of entertainment value, I mean, I definitely will be entertained by both fighters' fighting style. I finally got the zone up. I'm hoping it doesn't cause me any distress. Shout out to Ade. Every time I see Ade, shout out to see him on the zone. I'm always happy to see someone like that getting the credit that he deserves. He's a person he's a pugilist. He knows a lot about the sport. I love seeing people like myself. Because when I see someone like Ade, I see myself in him because he's another person who took the traditional route to media and boxing media, and he shows me that doing what I do every day with Jeff and Blunt, there is a reward, and you do get rewarded for the knowledge that you have. So seeing him on TV and on the zone right now, doing what he's doing with the zone, it's an inspiration, to be honest, because it just makes me know that I'm on the right path. Um, who do you think Taylor should fight next? Personally, I think he should fight Catterall next, or Catterall, however you wanna. I don't want to mess his name up. I think that will be probably the right fight to make. I feel like if at the very least Catterall deserves a rematch. I felt his performance was. I thought he deserved to win the fight. I know on the live yesterday I said I thought it was a draw, but when I done the maths, I thought it was 6-6, but just with the knockdown and the point deduction, Catterall deserved the fight. I don't think it was as wide as some people saw it. Some people gave Josh Taylor only 3 rounds or 4 rounds, which I didn't see the fight that way. I didn't see the fight that wide because personally, a lot of rounds Jack Catterall didn't throw nothing, whilst Josh Taylor did miss a lot. He missed a hell of a lot. He won some rounds by just being active because some rounds Jack Catterall literally didn't throw anything. And I felt like once he realized he was up on the cards, he got the knockdown and he got the point deduction, he just kind of cruised through the fight. He gave away a few rounds, which I personally felt like he could have just taken advantage of. So I do think he won though. I do think he won, but I don't, I'm not saying, some people are saying it's the worst robbery they've ever heard or ever seen. I ain't subscribing to that. I've seen worse robberies in my life. I've seen worse robberies this year, much less in boxing history. I mean, I've seen way worse robberies than that. Taylor didn't win, but he definitely won more than a couple of rounds. Yeah, definitely. Like I see people saying he only won 3 rounds or 4 rounds at most. I don't know. I don't know winning. I didn't see that. I didn't see. I mean, I gave Taylor round 12, round 11. I gave him round 12, round 11. I don't even know. I can't remember the specific rounds, but I know for a fact there was a time in that fight after where I thought it was close. I even think like he won a lot of the middle rounds, middle to early rounds, like two to maybe set six. Catterall won, but after that, I thought Taylor started to do some nice work. He wasn't really effective, but he was active, and I guess Cattle just kind of kept his hands in his pocket. You know, it being a Sunday, I can imagine there's not going to be that much people in. You know, it's a Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening, wherever you are in the world. So naturally, I'm assuming people are going to spend that with their families. But boxing is on, so we're talking about the sport. Thank you, Adrian, for being in the building with me. But yeah, I see Eddie talking right now. I never really listen to the commentary because you know you can get flagged for copyright at any stage. I mean, this is my problem. I'm everybody. Well, there's not many people watching, but anyone who's watching this or who watches this on a playback, please go and watch me after I'm gonna be on Boxing Lowdown's channel, but I'm gonna give you guys a quick taster. Personally, I'm gonna just set the table. I have interviewed referees before, a referee before. I've interviewed a judge before. I've interviewed the head of the British Boxing Board of Control before, and anybody who's followed my, I don't want to say career, but for lack of a better word, career as a journalist and a person who's followed the sport of boxing will know that I love boxing on an international scale. With me loving boxing on an international scale, I love, I appreciate boxing in other countries, and I compare the state of boxing in my country, which is the United Kingdom, to other countries. And I've said this for maybe about 2 to 3 years, maybe even longer. The state of, in fact, it's definitely longer than 2 to 3 years. The state of British boxing is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace, from judging to promoting to commentary to pundits to fighters to trainers. It is a disgrace, and there's not enough reflection on what we do in this country because we look and we live in a bubble. Because of what Eddie Hearn has achieved, and credit to Eddie Hearn, because he's put British boxing on the map and we've risen so far, it's like we feel like we are above criticism. The truth is, British boxing is in a worse state than American boxing and Eastern European boxing and Mexican boxing. Because the truth is, the way things are run, it is too, what's the word? Fan based. Whoever is the fan favorite, whoever is making the money, whoever the public perceive as the attraction, that's who the pundits, that's who the promoters, that's who the television companies, and that's who the judges and referees support. And that's been like that for 2 to 3 to 4. That's been like that for a long time, for a very, very long time. Now, when I watched the performance of the referees and judges yesterday with Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall, I see that as a disgrace. But the bigger disgrace is the pundits and the commentators, because everybody's come out and it's like they've come out and it's like a shock. They've come out and almost seen it. A lot of people are saying it's the worst decision they've ever seen. British boxing is in the worst place. So they're coming out with all of this reactionary behavior. But if you use foresight, if you used just a little bit of attention to detail, you could see that this is not just about main event fighters. The truth is, the only reason why these commentators, these ex-fighters and these ex-promoters or promoters are coming out and speaking right now is because Jack Catterall is from the UK. The truth is, if Jack Catterall was not from the UK, nobody would be speaking. Because I've seen fights, I've witnessed fights that's a worse robbery than what I saw yesterday. The truth is, nobody said anything about it. You didn't see the people that's coming out and spending 35 to 40-minute interviews talking about the judging and the refereeing. They didn't. You don't see it. You don't see it. What you're seeing right now is a clear case of favoritism because he's British. The truth is, last 2-3 weeks ago, I watched Felix Cash get a gift decision against a Russian fighter. Guess what? Nobody spoke about that because he's Russian. That's why. Because Jack Catterall is British, that's why people are speaking. The truth is, I thought Jack Catterall won the fight. But this idea is the worst robbery ever, and everybody wants to come out and speak about it. The truth is, that's the wrong thing. That's the wrong thing, because the truth is, British boxing has been in a state like this. It's been in a bad state. And when you see a bad decision go against a fellow Brit, well, that's just chickens coming home to roost, in my opinion. And I don't mean to sound like Michael Metz when I say it, but that's the facts. The facts is we've seen British fighters get favorable decisions against foreign fighters for so long. But now a British fighter comes out and gets a favorable decision, all of a sudden it's the worst thing ever. That's my problem. That is my problem. Nobody in this country, nobody, and I can say nobody in this country watches boxing on an international scale like I do and appreciates it like I do. Because the truth is, I'm one of the only people that has no benefit. A lot of these promoters, a lot of these pundits, they get paid to speak. They get paid by promotion, by television companies. They get paid to push the propaganda. Well, the truth is, my honest opinion, what I saw yesterday is just a clear case of, this is just an example of what's been going on for years. And the truth is, the only reason why people are speaking about it is because Jack Catterall is British. If Jack Catterall was from the Ukraine, from Mexico, from Russia, from Canada, from America, no one will be saying anything. No one. We won't be seeing what we're seeing right now. So I don't care what none of these pundits want to say, because the truth is, this has been happening. I've been seeing undercard after undercard, robbery after robbery, and I will give you a very bad case. Those who don't know about this case, it's the worst case in boxing. My worst ever robbery I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen probably over 200 to 300 fights in my life. In fact, maybe 1,000 fights in my life. The worst robbery I've ever seen was Daryl Williams versus Zach Parker. The worst robbery of Zach Parker, the Zach Parker who's about to fight Andrade. Zach Parker didn't win one round in that fight. And shout out to Jeff, because Jeff watched the fight and he done a post-match reaction to that fight. The video is still on the channel. That is the worst decision I've ever seen in my life. They gave the decision to Zach Parker, and I didn't give one round to Zach Parker. It was a clean sweep to Daryl Williams. After that fight, Daryl Williams retired, and since that day, Daryl Williams has never stepped into a boxing ring. No one has ever spoken about that. Because Daryl Williams doesn't fit the narrative, and he's not being pushed by British television station or mainstream promotional company. Nobody talks about it. Well, that's what happens in boxing. So to me, this is just a clear case of poor British fans. I know Terence Crawford says we got the best British fans. It's a lie. We got delusional British fans. We got delusional pundits, and we got terrible judges and terrible trainers. And the quality of fighters is below par. And that's been like that. And sorry to go on a rant, but that's how I see it. Man. I feel sorry for Jack Catterall, but on the whole, I don't care about what any pundit has to say, because nobody was speaking when this was happening to the dude Felix Cash fought. No one was speaking when this happened to Daryl Williams. No one was I can mention so many cases. It's only because Jack Catterall is English why people are talking about it. So I don't care. I literally don't care. Adrian Broner said, Adrian Broner. Shout out to Adrian. He says, no problem, bro. Yeah. that Felix Cash decision was terrible, but no one talks about it, bro. That's my point. That is my point. No one is talking about it because the dude he was fighting was Russian. So no one cares. No one cares. That was a worse decision than yesterday's, but no one cares because he's Russian. That's why, to me, this is just a clear. You can't benefit from a system, then all of a sudden be upset when that same corrupt system that you've been benefiting from is now going against to bite you. You can't be upset because you've been living by it. You've been living by it, and no one called it out because it supported your fight and it pushed your narrative. Now all of a sudden it's against your fighter. Nothing. So I ain't supporting none of the things that these pundits are saying. I ain't doing it. I'm sorry. I'm not. But both dudes have walked into the ring. Rocky Fulton is fighting the dude. Personally, I don't have much knowledge. I've seen him fight once or a couple. In fact, who have I seen him fight? I can't even remember. But I've definitely seen the dude fight before because his name is definitely rings a bell. I can't even remember who I've seen him fight. But obviously, with Fowler coming off a loss, you know, you would be hoping he can come back and get a win. You know, what's it called? We're probably about 2 hours out, 3 hours out from the main event. I was really impressed with Fabio Wardley's performance. I doubt I'm going to be impressed by anybody else who's on this card. Lucas Makic. I don't know how to pronounce that surname. Where have I seen him fight before? Well, one thing I know for a fact, he ain't gonna win by knockout. This dude's got 27 wins and 5 by knockout, so he definitely ain't a puncher. And at 154, you know, for you to only have 5 knockouts, I mean, that is far from impressive. Another thing I want to say is, why does boxing fans who watch fights at home on television have no control over the decision of the fight get more chance to watch the fight than a judge? We have a clearer view of the fight than the judge. When the judge is actually influencing the fight, they should have the clearest view because it's their decision that determines who won the round and who didn't, who won the fight and who didn't. There's some places where I could only see who landed that punch on a replay. So a judge might award a round to a certain person thinking that a punch landed when it didn't, when it missed. But he didn't get the chance to watch it on a replay. That's another thing that I don't like, but we'll get into that at another time, you know. But yeah, see how this fight goes, you know. As I said, I'm not really a massive fan of Fowler's style, you know, very, very, very upright, not much head movement, very robotic, pretty standard British style, you know, face first boxing, you know, relying a lot on punches and power. Yeah, apologies, I'm back. Uh, One second, let me just send a message to Jeff to get this guy to jump in. Get this guy to jump in. Yeah, they definitely should have instant replay in boxing for judging or officiating. But I've been ringside before. I've been ringside several times, like maybe for, I don't know, 20, 30 fights I've been ringside for. And in my time at being ringside, it's very difficult to see what punches are landing and what punches aren't landing in certain parts. So let's say I'm north of the ring. If someone's in the southeast of the ring. It's very difficult in the corner to see what's landing and what's not landing. And without instant replay, it's very difficult also. I'll give you an example of Stephen Fulton versus Brandon Figueroa. When you watch that fight, you could clearly see that there was a lot of punches that Stephen Fulton was landing that was being smothered by the large frame of Brandon Figueroa. But when you watch it on a replay, you can see that they were landing. But because Brandon Figueroa is so big and his frame is so big, his arms are so wiry, it's very difficult to see whether they're landing on the arms or landing on the body. So that's my point. You need instant replay. And in other sports like cricket, for example, um, football now, you're allowed to get the people who are officiating the decisions, they get another chance to look at it. I don't know why judges don't have that same opportunity. Plus, judges can easily be influenced by the crowd. And another thing is, judges are never held accountable for their decisions or their actions. They're the only people that can do something and not have to face the public when they make a mistake. They don't ever get interviewed. They don't ever have to come out and make statements. Never. And that's another thing I don't really like. If it was me, I would have every judge in a private booth by themselves, no communicating with no one else. You get replays, you get judges, no phones, no nothing, just straight in there, and they can only watch the fight. And they can watch the fight multiple screens, see multiple angles, and they have to be recorded. Everything they say has to be recorded. They explain why they gave that round to that person. They explain they're in a room by themselves. I would do it like that. They have to explain why they gave the decision to that individual. They do that in a sport. Most of you guys are probably ain't aware of a sport called cricket. But if you are aware, they do that in cricket. The umpire, the officiator, the person who's making this decision, they're in a private room by themselves. They get multiple angles and they have to explain why they gave the decision to the party at hand. They have to explain. And I feel like that's how boxing should be. That's how boxing should be. Because to me, firstly, the dude who he's fighting is that a tattoo on his back, or this distracting. Is that a tattoo on his back, or is that an actual sticker that he's put to do sponsorship? Because it looks like a sponsor that he's got on his back. I don't understand. He said, great idea, bro. To me, it's worked in cricket. It's worked in cricket. I'm a big fan of cricket. If you watch cricket, there's rarely ever like uproars about decisions that umpires make. Rarely. It's rarely ever uproars, because every single referee officiator in that sport is held accountable, and they have to explain why they made the decision. And they get multiple angles and multiple multiple visuals. They can see it from different places to make their decision, and they can explain themselves why they made their decision. So it adds a bit of clarity to the viewer, as well as the person who's as well as the athletes, whoever's actually competing in the sport. So that's how I think it should be. But I don't know, man. I don't know why people at home who are watching it on TV get more of a clear picture of the fight than a judge. And we have no influence on the fight, but the judge has all the influences, but they get limited amount of information or limited amount of access. Makes no sense. Zero sense whatsoever. But who am I? Who am I to be making these decisions? I'm only a spectator at the end of the day. Commentary in this fight, I mean, this is Fowler's clearly winning it. I mean, the dude who he's fighting is literally just come to defend, move. But Fowler, again, a very, very basic fighter. Doesn't really do much to set up punches. Not great defensively. He's trying to land punches here and there, but nothing that great. I don't know how long this fight's gonna last. It says 10 rounds. I really hope Fowler can get a stoppage, because I really don't want to be on live for that long. This fight is relatively boring already, to be honest. I'm hoping Jeff jumps in because for me to be on this watching this fight by myself is almost torture. It was like when I was watching the undercard for uh Cambosis versus Tiafimo. That was one of the worst undercards I've seen in my life. The horrible undercard. Horrible, horrible, horrible. This undercard isn't that bad because it had Fabio Woodley on it, and he's always someone who's exciting to me. But in terms of this fight itself, I mean, everybody's talking about this Belal individual, so I'm hoping he comes out and puts in a good performance. But his brothers can't punch, so I'm assuming he can't punch neither. Yafai, that's his name, Yafai. The Yafai brothers. But his brothers can't punch, so I'm assuming he can't punch. That undercard was torture. I think he was on it with me as well, Adrian. That undercard was torture. That undercard was not entertaining at all. Give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm back again. 1 second. Sunday. That's what happens on Sundays. That's why I know some people are a fan of boxing on Sundays. I'm not. I'm not a fan of boxing on Sundays at all. Yeah, I'd much prefer if you just stick to the normal Saturdays. I understand because he didn't want it to collide, but the promotion of this fight in the UK has been poor as well because Lawrence Okolie, current world champion, one of the few world champions that Britain actually has. I think Britain only has, if I'm correct, 6 world champions. In boxing right now, I know they have eight Fury, Lawrence Okolie, Josh Taylor. Who else is a world champion? Sonny Edwards. Open it. Yeah, in fact, I think they only have 5. I think Britain only has 5 world champions. So yeah, apologies. I'm literally about to watch the fight on my phone because I was trying to watch the zone on my laptop, was not allowing me, it's just not working. So I'm literally watching it on my phone. Unfortunate. Let me set this fight back up. Gonna be more hugging in this fight than a family reunion, bro. Bro. It's crazy. It's crazy. I had the fight up, and then for some reason it just shut down on my phone, my laptop. So I have to watch it on my phone, and I can't watch it where I normally watch it because my house is full of people. It's Sunday, so YSM, you already know what that means, bro. But yeah, YSM, I heard you have a problem with Bivo. You gotta let me know what your problem is with Bivo, because I'm not what's it called? I'm not subscribing to that. And even now, this is moving so slow. Wow. Jeez. Apologies to everybody that's watching this because I'm literally supposed to be doing some commentary. Fortunately, I can't because this is so slow. as much as I like what the Zone are doing for boxing, I much prefer Sky. I much prefer Sky. Like, I miss when Matchroom was on Sky, to be honest. You know, when even though Sky was responsible for yesterday's performance, um, at least it was easy to watch. You know, oh, he's a plain hoagie, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. He's a plain hoagie, bro. He's a top fighter. He's a top fighter. He is a top fighter. He's better than anybody that you want, other than Beterbiev and maybe Benavides. There's not anybody else who I would want to see Canelo fight. I don't think there's anybody who has a better chance of beating Canelo than Bivol, other than maybe Benavides and Beterbiev, definitely, because Beterbiev's a amazing fighter. Solid fighter, but has zero chance against Canelo. I don't know why you say he has zero chance against Canelo. This is a dude who, on average, wins more rounds than any other world champion. That's a fact. Those are the numbers. No world champion wins more rounds than him in terms of percentage. This dude wins more rounds than anyone. And then also, this is a dude who's never been down in his career. He has got an extensive amateur background. He is bigger than Canelo. He is gonna come in with a very, very, very good game plan. Trust me, I know a lot of people don't know who Bivol is, but Bivol's a solid fighter. Super basic, nothing dynamic at all. Against who? He beat Joe Smith Jr. And when you guys gotta understand. Just like when I see Boots, I don't need to look at opponents to know that this dude's the real deal, just by how he deals with his opponents. Same thing with Bivol. He 12-0 Joe Smith Jr. Literally won every round against Joe Smith. He won every round against Jean Pascal, every round against Sullivan Barrera. Literally, this is a dude who don't lose rounds. He's one of the most efficient fighters. Nobody lands on a higher percentage than him in the division. Nobody gets hit as less as him in the division. This dude is one of the purest boxers in the division. And yes, I understand he's not that dynamic in terms of he only has one fighting style, but he doesn't need multiple fighting styles, because Canelo's not an individual that's going to exploit a lot of his weaknesses. Because for one, Canelo isn't bigger than him. Canelo isn't stronger than him. Canelo's going to try and get on the inside, and he's going to try and walk him down. He's going to realize real quick that he's going to get past. He's going to have to get past the best jab he's ever faced in his life. The best jab he's ever faced. The most accurate puncher in the entire division. And that's a fact. He is the most accurate puncher in the entire division. Nobody Canelo will fight will be as accurate as Bivol. Those are just the facts. Straight up and down like 6 o'clock. I hear that. Doesn't mean nothing, because you have to get on the inside against him. And if he this is what I can't wait to see. A lot of people are gonna realize that the angles that you can create with your feet, people are gonna be able to see how good Bivol is with his feet. The angles he creates with his feet, and plus he sometimes he is straight up and down, but he's got amazing catching ability. He catches punches very well. He's got a good high guard. So Canelo's gonna have to go past a very good jab. Trust me, this is gonna be a hard fight, and I feel like the only way Canelo wins is by controversial points decision. That's how I see it. That's how I'm seeing it. Controversial points decision. Trust me, this fight's gonna be boring as hell, because that's all, most of Bivol's fights are boring, because Bivol fights off the back foot, keeps it long, will move around the ring most of the fight. Canelo ain't really gonna get close because his feet ain't quick enough. Neither is it smart enough to get close. When it does get close, Bivol's gonna deploy the high guard. He ain't really gonna get on the inside to get no work off. That's how the fight's gonna go. I'm not gonna lie. Solid doesn't beat Canelo. He's more than solid. He's more than solid. Joe Smith isn't good. I don't know how you can say Joe Smith isn't good when Joe Smith is a current world champion, and Joe Smith has beaten good names. He beat the likes of Alida Alvarez. He beat the likes of Jesse Hart. He beat Vlasov. You know, he had a good fight against Sullivan Barrera, another dude who Bivol beat. You know, Joe Smith is a good fighter. You know, and I don't know why people. I don't know, man. I don't know why people don't respect Bivol. People are gonna respect Bivol after this fight. I'm telling you. Nice to see you guys. Shout out to you, Jackson, bro. I respect you. You're gonna be mad as shit come fight night. I ain't gonna be mad at all. I ain't gonna trust me. I ain't gonna be mad because I know what I see, and Bivol is significantly better than anybody that Canelo's ever fought. I'm telling you, I'm not asking you. He's significantly better than anyone Canelo's ever fought. Significantly better. Because even if you want to say Golovkin, Golovkin doesn't have the ring generalship of Bivol. And Golovkin doesn't have the size of Bivol. Neither does he have the ability to fight 12 rounds maintaining a certain tempo. Golovkin got drawn into a certain fight with Canelo. Bivol ain't gonna do that. Trust me. Joe Smith is an average fighter, if that's what you believe. Remember this conversation. I don't need to remember this. I won't forget it because everybody. I'm speaking to everybody. You're not the only person who's been saying this about Bivol. Trust me, Bivol is better. Bivol is better than Charlo. Bivol is better than Andrade, and I love Andrade. One of my favorite fighters. I love Andrade, but Bivol is better than Andrade. Bivol is better than anybody other than Beterbiev. I wouldn't have won. Maybe Benavidez as well because I like Benavidez. Benavidez is also got the size advantage. Anybody else ain't better than Bivol. Trust me. I'm telling you that right now. Floyd Mayweather, Erislandy Lara, Miguel Cotto. Stop it, Shane. Floyd Mayweather don't count. Because Floyd Mayweather obviously is better than Bivol. Erislandy Lara, I'll tell you this right now. Right now. Erislandy Lara fought scared of Canelo. He fought scared. Bivol is not scared of Canelo. Trust me. And Miguel Cotto was a good fighter, but he's a person. He's suited to fight Canelo. Trust me. Bivol's size advantage. Oh, trust me. Oh, people don't understand. I don't know what a string bean casserole is. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But trust me, you guys will see. Everybody will see fight night. Trust me. This dude is the real deal. You don't do what Bivol's done in his career. I'm talking about amateur and pro if you ain't the real deal, bro. Trust me. And YSM, you've been around boxing for long enough to know. This was a dude who he was calling out everybody when he turned pro. He called out Andre Ward, he called out Kovalev, he called out everybody when he turned pro. Everyone. Nobody took the Bivol fight. Because trust me, people don't know, but they will see. I've seen practically nearly every Bivol fight that's out there on YouTube. And trust me, if Canelo wins, I give him all the credit because this is a better fight than any fight that he could have made. And this Erislandy Lara talk. Erislandy Lara is a good fighter. He's a very good fighter, but he ain't got no offense, and his offense was never going to be enough to beat Canelo. You know, and Bivol, trust me, he don't lose rounds. This is a dude who does not lose rounds. He don't lose rounds. So Canelo's gonna have a tough night. I see Canelo fight go 12 rounds or 11 rounds with Caleb Plant, bro. Caleb Plant is a poor fighter. He is a poor fighter. I see him go 12 rounds with Callum Smith. Callum Smith is a poor fighter. He is not a good fighter. So Bivol, bro, he's gonna cause all types of problems. Did he deserve an Andre Ward fight? Of course not. Of course he didn't deserve an Andre Ward fight. Of course he didn't. But Andre Ward recognized his skill level, though. Ask Andre Ward about Bivol. Ask Timothy Bradley. Ask anybody who's watched enough fights of Bivol. They will tell you this dude is not. Oh, trust me. When you come from that Soviet system, people like Canelo ain't gonna intimidate him. They're not gonna be intimidated by people like Canelo. Trust me. Canelo wins most of his fights off intimidation in the first round. These dudes ain't gonna be intimidated by Canelo. Trust me. There's a reason why the Canelo is fighting the fighters that he's fighting, because he fought the likes of Callum Smith and Billy Joe Saunders. They're gonna be overruled by the occasion. This is not the same situation. Bivol is not built. He's built different. Andre Ward retired. Stop it. What are you talking about, bro? Before Andre Ward fought Kovalev, Andre Ward, and you can even go on YouTube right now. In fact, I'll send it after you. There's a in the gym. There's an interview where Andre Ward talks about the fighters on the come up and the fight, and he's talking about Bivol, and they do a face to face on like a head to head in the gym together. Andre Ward wasn't retired at that time. I'm telling you, I'll send you the link after. I literally remember that. And Andre Ward I followed Andre Ward's career literally for so long. He's one of my favorite fighters of all time, probably top three favorite fighters. And I think Andre Ward would have beaten Bivol as well, because he definitely would have beaten Bivol because he has the fighting style plus the size. Canelo now, I seen him at 175 and he didn't look good to me. I'm just keeping it real. I'll send you the link. I'll send you the link as soon as I jump off this live. Right now I'm just this what's it called? This fight is just freezing for me for some reason. I'm literally not getting any freezing. The zone literally needs to fix up right now because every 5 seconds this is freezing. I don't understand why. Jeez, I can't even do any commentary on this fight because these fights are freezing, and I'm expecting Jeff to jump on, but he I don't know where he is right now. The zone is causing me all sorts of problems. I don't even know what round it is. Right now don't know what round it is. I'm hoping it's round 10 and the fight's over. Send me the link to the live quick. Oh, wow. That's gonna be a bit difficult. Yeah, that's gonna be a bit difficult. I'd have to jump off and jump back on. So that's gonna be I can't even send it to you. Oh, Jeff, I can't even send it to you because I don't even have I'd have to jump off and jump back on. In fact, 1 second. I can post. I'll post it in the chat. I'll post it in the comment section. Yeah, it should be in the chat now. Should be in the chat now. The link should be in the chat. It said round 7. I got 5 minutes. Then don't. I don't know what you mean. Then don't. I think we are in for a good show tonight. Hopefully. Right now, bro, I'm struggling because the zone is literally freezing. Shout out to YSM. What's up, bro?
What's good with you?
I don't know if it's me. 1 second, but I can't hear you right now. 1 second. No.
Yo, can you hear me?
I can. 1 second. Yeah, I can barely hear you, but you can speak. Go ahead.
Oh man, no. What I was trying to say when you brought up the Andre Ward thing. All right, so everybody knows, and I hope you old enough to remember. Andre Ward signed a 3-fight deal after the Paul Smith fight, and specifically, it was going to be 2 fights with Sergey Kovalev and a fight with Sullivan Barrera. So Bivol calling out Ward first off, he didn't deserve the fight. Number two, it wasn't going to happen at all.
No, I'm
So
not saying it from a point of view that it was going to happen. I'm just telling you that it should have never happened because he didn't deserve the fight, and it was never going to happen because Wood was on a completely different level at the time. I'm just showing you, this is a dude who, I think he only had like 7 fights at the time. He was calling out probably the pound for pound best at that time. He literally was, because of, he's similar to Lomachenko, similar to Usyk. When they turn pro, they're ready for the best fighters in the world. They've been through all forms of, what's it called? They've been through all forms of, what's the word? Like they've had the acid test in the amateurs. They've been tested, so they're ready for everyone. So him fighting Canelo, it's gonna be nothing to him. It's gonna be literally nothing. Nothing. He ain't gonna be intimidated. He ain't gonna be scared. It's gonna be a basic fight, just a normal day's work for this guy.
He doesn't have to be any of those things to lose, Shane. And I'm not. Don't think that I'm a Canelo fanboy or anything like that. But what Bivol brings to the table is not enough. Like he's a plain hoagie means he's super basic, bro. Super basic. Everything is distance. Everything is distance, right? And what happens when you close that distance? He's shown no propensity to be able to fight on the inside. He's not dynamic. Canelo, no disrespect, but he thrives on beating the Euro fighter. What you want to call it? Eurasia. He thrives off of beating those fighters.
Well, Bivol don't fight. And I don't know. I guess
he fights. He's a little bit more athletic, but he fights like a typical Russian fighter. He's just this
is why I feel like there's a reason Bivol isn't dynamic. He doesn't have various fighting styles, or he hasn't shown us that he's had various fighting styles. He's never really needed to. But there's a reason why, because what his plan A is good enough, and he's never needed to show a plan B. He's never needed to show the fact that he's dynamic. The truth is, Bivol fights at long range. He fights at long to mid range, and he keeps the fight long, keeps the fight at distance.
You don't need any.
In order for the fight to go on,
you don't need anybody to show that you're dynamic. Fighters who are dynamic show they're dynamic against lower competition, mid-level competition. You see it, Shane. There's nothing about him that is dynamic. And
can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Is Canelo dynamic?
Yes.
So can Canelo fight off the back foot?
Certain fighters, yeah.
He can fight off the back foot?
Yeah.
Can you give me an example where he fought off the back foot?
He fought Triple J off the back foot in the first 4 rounds.
The first fight or the second fight?
In the first fight. In the first 4 rounds.
Okay, did he win that fight?
Wait. He had a draw in that fight. You asked me.
Did you think he drew that fight?
You asked me, could he do it? I gave you an example of him doing it.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. So the last time we saw Canelo fight off the back foot, he did not win.
Shane.
So he can't do it successfully.
Shane. The first 4 rounds, he fought Triple G off the back foot, right? Before he gassed out. He looked good in those first 4 rounds. So he is able to fight off the back foot. That's what you asked me. Is he able? Yes, he is.
What did you say?
Have you ever seen Bivol even look good fighting on the inside? Go.
He doesn't ever fight on the inside. Fighters don't ever make him fight on the inside. He doesn't need to. He keeps the fight long because he's good enough to keep the fight long.
Does Bivol have a left hook? Does Bivol have an uppercut, right uppercut, left uppercut, right uppercut? What?
He doesn't throw those punches.
Okay.
Huh?
No kind of punch variation. No variation on all
because he keeps the fight long. He has one style, and that style works.
He's going to need to in May. He's going to need to in May.
Huh?
He's going to need to in May.
What?
I want you to remember this conversation, Jay.
The truth is, Canelo has to do something to make Bivol fight out of his fight on the inside, and that means he has to go past his jab, cut off the ring, and get inside of the pocket. I'm saying Canelo isn't going to be able to let him do that on a consistent basis to win the fight. Clearly, he might do it at times. He might do it sometimes, and I guess on the judges, they're gonna give him the fight anyway because there's so much money invested in it. But consistently throughout a 12-round fight, I am telling you that he is not going to be able to get on the inside consistently enough to exploit those things you're talking about, which is Bivolo's lack of inside game. I'm telling you, Bivolo is going to keep the fight long and as long as possible. Keep that fight long, and that's what he's going to do. That's how he fights every fight. That's how he fights everybody.
I'm gonna say this, and then I gotta hop off, bro. Right? Canelo, the way people want to present Canelo, like he's going and taking on the tough challenges and all that, he's not that dude. Canelo looks for easy money. Bivol, for Canelo style, it's easy money. And you're going to find out on May 7th that Bivol is not the fighter that you think he is. He's a solid guy, but he's benefited off of a very weak 175-pound division. It's just devoid of talent. The best fighter is a 40-year-old.
I'm saying he's benefited off having exceptional. Even if you feel like it's void of talent, there's still no champion in boxing right now that lands at a higher percentage than him. That's a fact.
Against who?
No fighter in the division.
Against who?
In any weight class in the entire sport.
Who?
Huh?
Against who? Joe Smith.
My point. Even if you're saying he's fighting the bums,
the funny thing is you told me that
Callum Smith land at a higher percentage than him. That's my point.
You said Callum Smith was a poor fighter, when I said Joe Smith, when I said Joe Smith isn't good, you said, well, how can he not be that? He's a world champion. Well, you said Callum Smith's a poor fighter and he was a world champion. What's your point?
But this is the difference. Callum Smith, I can give you multiple fights where I thought Callum Smith didn't look good in. Multiple fights where I thought Callum Smith lost. So there's a difference. I can't give you one fight where I can say someone won more than 2 rounds against Bivol. Maybe Craig Richards. Other than that, I can't give you one.
Making the point. You tried to tell me, I said Joe Smith isn't good. You said, well, that can't be. He's a world champion. Well, you told me Callum Smith was a poor fighter.
But Joe Smith has beaten better competition than Callum Smith.
Joe Smith's skills are very poor. You know it.
Okay. As Joe Smith beaten better competition than Callum Smith?
So yes. Is Joe Smith an average fighter? Yes or no?
No, not an average fighter.
Oh my God. All right, Shane. I'm gonna go back to watching the show.
All right, cool. All right, shout out to my boy YSN for jumping on. As I said, bro, the zone is literally, for some reason, not allowing me to watch this fight. I don't know why. Unfortunately, I don't even know what to do. I got it on my laptop and my phone, and it's not allowing me to. That is unfortunate. Shout out to G Banks as well. Bro, I'm so glad you're in. Speak, Jeff.
Mic check, mic check.
All right, let me jump off and jump back in.
All right. Big shout out to everybody that's in here. Big shout out to J Banks. J Banks in the building. Big shout out to J Banks. My guy Miles Williams in the building. Said I think we in for a good show tonight. Yeah, definitely in for a good show tonight. Fowler in the ring right now. Shane, you good?
I'm good, bro, but the zone's not working right now. I don't understand. Like, literally, I can't. It's not. I'm literally trying. How long are you gonna be on for, Jeff?
4 minutes. What you trying to just log all the way out and log in?
Now, what I was gonna do was I was gonna use my other phone to watch the fight and my other phone to go and stream it.
Yeah, go there.
But that means I won't be able to turn off the live when you jump back on. So I have to switch again.
So what you want me to do?
1 second. Let me. 1 second. I can. All right, cool.
Big
shout out live for the Okolie fight.
Yeah. What time it come on?
It's probably in the next hour.
Yeah, I'll be on. All
right, cool. Let me jump off and I'm gonna click the link. Just let me back in.
All right. Big shout out to Adrian in the building. Big shout out to you, bro. My guy, YSM, what's going on, bro? It said Shane hyping up plain hoagies. I told him that was the subject of convo in the chat, man. I'm always watching the chat. You know what I'm saying? Like you and Leak be getting it in, bro. You and Leak be getting it in, man. Something crazy. I know Shane said his DAZN is not working. I know mine working. But you know, Shane out there in the UK. Why? So the thing I was telling Shane is when you look at Bivol from just a skill set standpoint, his skill set is very effective. But when it comes down to offensively, he give you twos and threes. He give you twos and threes, and a lot of the stuff is like he makes the basics look good. Like he's like the Tim Duncan of like 175, man. Like a lot of people will say Tim Duncan is, you know, a plain hoagie. You know what I'm saying? But that he got some special ingredients on that. You know what I'm saying? Like he if I had to compare him to anybody, I would say probably like a Tim Duncan type. Said me and Leak need a show. Y'all definitely need a show, bro. Y'all definitely need a show. Y'all that like I would highly promote that. Definitely need a show. For sure. Shane.
Yo, bro.
I can hear you.
You can't hear me.
Say something else? No, I can hear you. I can hear you good.
You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you good. You straight. Am I lagging a little bit?
You was, but not anymore. But I might be lagging. I'm on a completely different phone that I don't really use.
Okay. Adrian said that's a great analogy. Yeah,
what was a
I
great
was
analogy?
talking about why some said Shane hyping up plain hoagies. But I told him, I said the thing is I compared it to basketball Hall of Famer Tim Duncan. Like he was all his moves was just they called him big fundamentals. Like everything he does is basic textbook, but he's so effective, he's special. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what Bivol brings to the table. You know what I'm saying?
YSM, would you rather him fight Charlo? I'm gonna ask you that question. Would you rather him fight Charlo? Or would you rather him fight Andrade? That's my question to you.
Talking about Canelo?
Yeah. Would you rather Canelo fight Andrade? Or would you rather Canelo fight what's it called? Would you rather Canelo fight Andrade or Charlo?
Are you pitching me that same question?
I know your answer.
I was gonna say, you know my answer.
Because everybody, this is the thing, bro. This dude's moving up to 175, a weight class that he's only fought at once, and when he did fight at that weight class, he didn't look good at it. Bivol's comfortable at 175. From what I know, there's no rehydration clause on it. Bivol's gonna be coming in normal and comfortable, natural weight, everything good. And to me, I'm just keeping it real. Based on what I've seen from Bivol, I'm not gonna lie, Bivol's boring. Bivol's he is boring. But him being boring don't mean he can't win a fight, bro.
Yeah. You know the thing that's crazy with Bivol, it kind of reminds me of, now I'm not saying these two, I'm comparing these two fighters I'm getting ready to mention. But when it was time for Floyd to fight Cotto, he didn't make Cotto come down to 147, which he absolutely could have. He said, I'm gonna come up to 154 so Cotto can be comfortable at the weight. It reminds me of that type of a situation where Canelo, I've always said Canelo dictates all the terms and he makes sure he comes into a fight and he's a 60-70% favorite just off of the terms of the fight. The one thing I can respect about him fighting Bivol is take a situation with Floyd. Floyd used Canelo words against him and made him drop an extra 2 pounds. So instead of fighting 154, he made him come down to 152, which killed him. And Canelo could have easily been like, Bivol, you said you can make 168, no problem. Come on down to 168. And Bivol would have went down to 168. But would we have gotten the most comfortable Bivol at 168? Absolutely not. This is just me personally, and this is for YSM and whoever else want to get at that question. The reason I prefer the Bivol and Triple G route is simply because one of the two bouts, there's risk involved. There's risk that Canelo is taking that he doesn't technically have to take. He doesn't have to go to 175 and challenge the second best dude at 175. He doesn't have to. He's choosing to. And regardless of people's opinions on Triple G, at the very least, people got it 1-1. And even if you had Canelo winning the second fight, you probably had it no more than 7-5. So
I mean,
there's risk on both ends.
I didn't want him to fight Golovkin. I'll keep it real, but
I don't either.
With the Bivol thing, and I hear people talk about Charlo. To me, I respect Charlo, but the problem is I've seen lesser fighters than Canelo cause Charlo problems. Lesser fighters than Canelo cause Charlo problems. No, I ain't seen nobody cause Bivol problems. No one. Jeff said this yesterday, and I have to agree with it, and I'm gonna repeat it, but I'm gonna give credit. There is no blueprint to beat Bivol. There's none. There's no blueprint. People are only assuming he can't fight on the inside. They don't know that. They're only assuming. But there's a reason why he's never shown us it, because you have to get past that jab straight right hand. You have to get past that. You have to get past the ring generalship and his punch accuracy. There's no proven blueprint. There was a proven blueprint to beat Callum Smith. All of the dudes he's just beaten. There's a proven blueprint. There is no proven blueprint to beat Bivol. There's even a proven blueprint to beat Beterbiev. There ain't no proven blueprint to beat Bivol. He is going into this fight and he's gonna have to figure out a way to beat this dude. There's a proven way to beat Charlo, in my opinion.
Let me get YSM comments up in here. He said I wanted him to fight Charlo, Andre, Benavidez, and Bivol. YSM, I pretty much was just like, yo, he should just do both contracts over a 2.5 year span. And that'd be whether he wins all of them or loses one or two, that puts him in icon status if he was to do that. Like, because that's something let's just keep it real. Floyd would never, in his wildest dreams, after I'm talking Money Mayweather, there's no way he's running this type of gauntlet. It's no way he's running this type of gauntlet. You know what I'm saying? If he did both, so you got guys in the prime, you got guys that's young, that's guys that's not necessarily the best physical matchup or style matchup, and he's actually lining them all up. Yeah. YSM, but I already know what's gonna happen when Canelo fights him. But that tells you everything you need to know about how he views Bivol. Canelo just doesn't change his stripes overnight. He sees exactly what I see, a plain hoagie.
No, but this is the thing. Canelo can see it, and I see that as well. But this is the difference. You gotta beat that. And he might be underestimating Bivol. It doesn't really bother me because I know what I can see. And like, there's no way you're telling me that Andrade or Charlo's a better fighter than Bivol. I'm not believing that. I ain't believing that. I'm sorry. I'm not believing that.
You should be betting on the fight. There's no way I'm betting against Canelo when
I'm not betting on this fight because of the judges.
Bivol's down 3 rounds to nothing right now.
February.
And it's February. It's what it is. Like, and the thing is, but why is something I will tell you why Bivol's behind the 8 ball. He's behind the 8 ball for a couple of different reasons. Prism. We got somebody named Prism.
Bro, don't add that person to the chat.
You don't know who it is. Yo, Prism, jump in the chat. Let us know where you from. I don't know who you are.
So it's a Sunday, bro. I got loads of people in my house on Sunday.
Yeah, you don't know who that person is?
No, not at all.
The link in the chat.
I put the link in the chat to send it to YSM. I couldn't jump off and send it to YSM.
Gotcha. I wonder what he want. I wonder who it is.
I don't know what he wants. I don't know who that is. I've never seen him before, so I didn't put him on because didn't know who he was.
Hey, Prism, can you jump in the chat? Let us know where you from real quick before we do anything. I never seen you before, so. He said a plain hoagie light oil. Let me tell you why he's behind the eight ball. Like, I'm gonna tell you why he's behind the eight ball.
They just invested $100 million into Canelo.
Yeah, like Bill's not getting in the way of that. The main thing I'm looking for, YSM, is he gonna get robbed like Catterall got robbed? That's how I'm looking at it.
I'm going on Lowdown's channel later today, and bro, what I'm gonna say is gonna be very controversial.
What in terms of
the whole Catterall thing? Personally, in my opinion, I feel sorry for Catterall, and I feel like what happened to him is wrong. But at the same time, I find the bigger disgrace is these pundits. I find them a bigger disgrace.
Ones in particular?
The British pundits. The whole entire state of British boxing, even British boxing fans. The hypocrisy is crazy.
But it showed, but they were showing a lot of people was really getting at the judges about that.
That's why. Well, everybody was getting at the judges. That's why I don't like the pundits, because if Jack Catterall wasn't English, they wouldn't be getting at the judges. 3 weeks ago, I saw a bigger robbery than yesterday. I didn't hear nobody talk about it. Nobody talk about it on this channel. And I said this the other day. I said this earlier today as well. The biggest robbery I've ever seen was Zach Parker versus Daryl Williams. Jeff done a review of that fight when it happened. It's like 3 years ago. It's on the channel still. The worst robbery I've ever seen. Since that day, Daryl Williams has never stepped foot into a ring. The same Zach Parker who's about to fight Andrade, he robbed Daryl Williams. I didn't give Zach Parker one round. Daryl Williams has never stepped back into a boxing ring, and it's been 3 to 4 years. Nobody ever speaks about it. Ever. But because he's not pushed by a mainstream promotional company or a television company or promoter, nobody talks about it. But people want to talk about this.
Yeah, you know the thing that's crazy is the crazy thing about it, like the Cash fight was absolutely ridiculous. Like that was like just mathematically, like it was almost impossible. Like
a 10-round fight,
to have it,
dude gets knocked down twice and a point deducted, and he loses.
And Cash wins a unanimous decision on the cards, and he gets no knockdowns.
No knockdowns, or no point deductions. At least Catterall got a point deducted. At least, and that was a 12-rounder, bro. This was a 10-rounder.
And I gave Josh Taylor 4 rounds. 4. That's why I kept asking Vlog yesterday, what did your boxing eye tell you? Like, forget you trying to smooth things over with certain people and have a certain opinion and, you know, trying to be left field sometimes. Like, what did your boxing eye tell you? When you watch that fight, who won the fight? And there's no way, if you had Josh Taylor winning that fight, you're just a Josh Taylor fan. There's no way you watch that. It's no way you watch that fight and you thought Josh Taylor won that fight. It's no way.
But we've been seeing this in British boxing. We've been seeing it, but nobody talks about it because this. I said this earlier today, and I don't want to sound like Malcolm X, but it's chickens coming home to roost because British boxing has been benefiting from the same corrupt system. Normally, it's just an Eastern European or a Mexican or American fighter who's losing to poor judging. Now it's just affecting another British fighter. You can't be upset when it affects your own. It's the same corrupt judging.
And the thing is, like, you even take I feel like if you got a hand in the boxing business in any way, shape, or form, your boxing is employing you. And YSM, I say this all the time. You done heard me say this before. Like, you got to be responsible with that microphone you got. You got to be responsible with that microphone that you have. And who was it? Matthew Macklin. Like Matthew Macklin had it was the Eubank and Liam Williams fight. He literally had Liam Williams down by like a point going into the 11th round. Like, that's like he's employed by boxing with that type of nonsense. Like, and that's the stuff that don't get that. Eubank called it out. I called it out. You called it out. I'm like, it's ridiculous. Like,
Jeff, you want to know my problem though, bro? My problem is there's no transparency and there's no fairness. Let's keep it real. How much times, and you watch these cards with me, bro, these British cards with me. You're a person who watches British boxing as well. On undercards, it happens. When Conor Ben fought that French dude,
he lost.
That was a controversial decision. Nobody spoke about it.
I'm the only one in the States that spoke about it because I put up a picture of his face after the fight because both his eyes was swollen shut, and he got knocked down twice in that fight. That he got a knockdown back late, but Conor Ben lost that fight. He lost.
Nobody talks about it because he's part of the mainstream media. They're pushing this narrative, but on the undercard we see it all the time. But because these dudes aren't British and they're getting robbed, nobody talks about it. But the truth is, I don't care. I don't actually care about the state of British boxing because I've been saying this for years. Jeff, you know me because I always get hate by Will Stokes. I've been criticizing the trainers, the pundits, the fight fans, and the fighters. I've been criticizing the judging, everything. Remember when there was a judge with his phone on? Nobody was talking about that neither. There was literally a judge on his phone while the fight was going on in another fight. I've been talking about this for years. So now when it affects a British fighter, people are upset. Bro, I don't care. I don't care anymore.
The thing about that is that was brought to social media. But here's the problem with social media and then just media, period. So you got three different phases. You got social media, and then just how we operate as a people. Like, we don't social media, boxing media, and just us as a people, we don't ever think long. We don't ever think or talk about anything long term. Everything is short term, get in, get out, get to the next topic. So you even take the Michael Fox fight when he clearly got robbed.
Yeah.
And people like, yo, like y'all need to take care of that. So even with the gloves and all that, the guy gloves, so they turned it into a no contest, but they actually put in a petition for Michael Fox to actually get the win. It got denied. Nobody talked about it. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody talked about it, and then the decision was
another thing is, Jeff, even in America with Michael Fox, what you don't see is these same pundits that you see talking in America, the Timothy Bradleys, the Roy Jones, the Andre Ward. They don't talk about it because guess what? He's not. Michael Fox isn't being pushed by a mainstream company. If it was Crawford, if it was Spence, if it was Tank that was happening to you, you would see it every day and every night.
I have a long unfortunate history with Michael Fox because I thought he beat Luke Santa Maria. I thought he beat him by a point. And he didn't get the decision on that one. And I literally screenshotted my scorecard and I sent it to him. I said, bro, I'm going to keep it a bean. I said it was a tight fight. I thought you pulled it out by a round. And I was just like, I was like, it was close enough to where I wouldn't say it was
you have the zone on right now.
It's on my phone, but I got my phone charging, but it was working though. It was working. Let me check.
Cool. I'm only going to check. Jordan Gill fighting.
Jordan Gill fighting right now. Hold on, let me check.
Real quick. But it's cool. I just I'm not gonna do like proper commentary for this fight. I'm doing it like in between, so you can
Okay.
do what you're doing.
Yeah.
Only Lawrence Okolie I'm doing the commentary for.
Okay. Yeah, I just, that's my thing, like, and that's why it's important for the outlets that we have out here now to really continue to do what they're doing. Because YSM don't have no problem highlighting things like that, and Shido and Jalik, and there's other guys that don't have a problem highlighting those things. And my problem with the bad scorecard, mainstream, they feel like this is not. First of all, they feel like there's no money involved with this. Number two, they might ruffle some feathers, and number three, it might hit their wallet. Like that's really what it is. And all of us want to become big, huge channels and things like that. But the thing is, there's two things. Like you either working for somebody or you working for yourself. You're independent, And I'd rather be independent and only reach a certain level than for me to be mainstream and I'm compromised. As far as what I want to speak on and things like that, man. And that's just my own personal decision. A lot of people might be like, Jeff, you dumb for thinking that way. If ESPN call you, you're going to take it. And the one thing I can tell you, they could call me tonight and be like, hey, listen, when we want to make a deal with you, but you can't talk about this, and this. You can't say this, and this. And more than likely, I'm going to tell them no.
I'll give you an example. I was working on behalf of a company that I won't mention, and they sent me to a Frank Warren show. And they sent me a list of questions that I had to send a list of questions, and I couldn't ask the questions that I wanted to ask. So when Frank Warren was there, I interviewed the fighters, and the dude was there. Oh, you can interview Frank. I said, I'd rather not. I'm fine, thanks. I'd rather not. If I can't ask the questions I want to ask, I ain't asking none. I ain't asking nothing.
And even with like, and it's like, even the people that think that way, if you want to be strategic, that's cool. But you can still, there's a line that you can walk where you can be strategic when it comes down to interviewing and talking to certain people and still not lose your identity and lose who you are and not feel like you're being held down. And that's kind of the problem with media. Like it's like at the time, I think when the Michael Fox thing went down, just for an example, there was more people getting on talking about Wilder. We was on here talking about judges and corrupt. What's the criteria to become an inspector? Like that's literally what we were talking about. Like who are these inspectors?
Another point to you, Jeff, is why do we at home as fans who watch boxing on the television who have no influence on a fight get a clearer view of a fight than a judge? You've been ringside before. I've been
ringside. I've been ringside. YSM has been ringside. Shane, you've been ringside. The one thing that I will say is your view on a fight ringside, your view, like your actual physical view, is different than what it is on TV. You actually have more options on TV, but you have more distractions on TV as well. I actually the fight that there's a couple fights that I was at live, and I purposely scored them live while I was there, and then I turned around and I went home, and maybe like a day or two later, I watched them again, and I scored them, and it was like I was no more than one round off.
But Jeff, let me tell you what I mean. Like Figueroa versus Fulton, a lot of punches on first glimpse did not look like they landed from Fulton because of Figueroa's large frame. He's got wiry arms and he's very big. So in the pocket, when you watch it at first glance, you can't see them because his hands are pretty quick and you can't really see it because Figueroa smothers a lot of the work. When you watch it on a replay, you can see that the punches land. My point is, why do we as a fan get to see that a punch has landed, but a judge can't get to see that?
It's a lot of things. There's a lot of things with that. I always had a problem with where they're sitting.
But judges should have access to replays as well, bro. He should have access to replays.
Well,
bro.
The thing is, if that's the case, then you either This is what you're running the risk of. If they have access to replay, you either got to extend the amount of time that guys have in between rounds, or you literally have to stop a fight to have the replay. And I'll give you an example of why the replays really don't work. The politics still will come involved. You remember the Franco and Maloney fight, right?
Yeah,
Dude,
I know what you're gonna say.
They didn't know if it was a head punch, a headbutt, or a punch. Millie, am I correct on that? We was on the phone with that, and we literally was on the phone, and I'm like, yo, me and Millie on the phone. We like, yo, I'm literally telling Millie, I'm like, yo, I guarantee you, them people, them commission people, I said they on the phone with Vegas right now.
Yeah.
Like, I was not joking.
Yeah.
I was like, they on the phone with Vegas right now, like. That, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like no matter what rules you put in, I'm like, it's just the way boxing operates. Like, the money and the politics is going to trump everything. You know what I'm saying? No matter what goods you try to do when it comes down to certain situations, like even the replay will probably cause more controversy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll cause more controversy at the end of the day.
Disagree. I disagree, but
Go ahead, Millie.
I like this conversation, right? Because like you're one of the only true boxing channels where y'all cover boxing, right?
Right.
Y'all cover boxing differently than I do. I'm more like grassroots, younger dudes, but like y'all pay attention to every card and y'all talk in depth about the actual nuts and bolts of boxing. But it seems like the fans just want the sizzle and the satire. And that's what they're drawn to, and they're not really, really drawn to the real of the sport. Shane is a crusader.
Facts.
And the thing with the media, and they're in a tough spot because it's like, okay, we know promotional companies will blackball you. And so am I willing to risk my livelihood for this particular topic?
Yeah,
people got mortgages, kids in private school, the whole nine. So it's like the actual system handcuffs the people who are supposed to shine a light, and you got rarely dudes like Shane that don't care. Like Shane be like, man,
screw that
bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'll be telling Shane to be a little bit more diplomatic. Shane to look me dead in my eye. No.
Nah. Yeah,
the truth is why, SM, bro. And this is the thing. You interview people, bro, and cool. I could be a little bit more diplomatic, but there's one thing about lying, bro, and that's what I don't like. You don't lie. If you're gonna say something about, like, let's say you're interviewing Boots, for example, like when you brought up the Sean Porter situation, you brought it up in a way in which it was diplomatic. And you brought it away in which you evoked conversation. Now, naturally, what I see, I don't know, not so much in America, but in the UK, is these dudes will publicly, outwardly just ignore and just act like certain things don't happen. Like when Tony Bellew says that Conor Benn is the best fighter outside of Terence Crawford. I mean, bro, I can't accept that. You're gonna interview this dude and act like it's nothing. He came out and said Conor Benn is, bro.
Shane, please don't tell me you said that, Shane.
Bro, Jeff, was you not on live when me and Lowdown was talking about the same thing? When he said James Tennyson will knock out Tank.
It's true.
Bro, these are things.
Yeah,
and then Tennyson got cooked.
So my point is, bro, and then these media people interview people like Tony Bellew, and they don't question them about these decisions. They don't about these statements. Like, you're on TV, like consciously, willingly misleading the public. Then you're misleading the public just to promote these fighters that are being pushed by this mainstream television company.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, even with you take even the Gary Russell fight, like you take the Gary Russell and Postal fight last night.
Bullshit.
Russell, yeah, that stoppage was BS. I think Russell was going to win the fight anyway, but still, it was BS. It was BS at the end of the day, and I don't like. For me, it's situations like that where I'm just like, so Gary Russell, except for him getting a victory and people like, yo, he got things he need to work on. Now he's caught up in this, controversy. Like, oh, yo, you got to fight stop because you got the folks behind you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, so
they needed to keep the knockout narrative alive.
To keep the knockout narrative alive, and it's just like, and the thing is, the thing they don't realize, and because they don't have their ear to the street, people don't even acknowledge Gary Russell for that. It's not an Edgar Berlanga situation.
Nope.
You understand what I'm saying? Nobody's looking at Gary Russell as no killer. Like Edgar Berlanga was being portrayed as a killer. I was getting killed, bro. I literally did a video on Berlanga when he was like 13-0. And I said, yeah, he's 13-0. Yeah, he got 13 knockouts. He looked like a monster, but I got questions. And I had people literally criticize me for asking questions about Berlanga, and I'm like, yo, I ask the same questions about every fighter. I don't care if you were sent from God or you from Thompson Street. I don't care. I don't care who you are. Like, I got the same questions. I'm like, when you get hit with a shot, what you gonna do? Your power carry up late? You know what I'm saying? Can you strategize after 6 rounds? There's a bunch of stuff I can ask. You know what I'm saying? And I may believe you can do those things, but I'm like, yo, I want to see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see it. Like, at the end of the day, and I'm like, Gary Russell didn't look. He looked solid. Like,
what did you guys think of? What's it called? Chris Colbert.
You know the thing that's funny. I'm gonna let Wyatt go after this, but the thing about Chris Colbert is this is a prime example of this was the worst type of loss to take.
Oh yes,
he would have been better off
getting knocked out.
Iced. He'd have been better off getting iced because he could have been like, "Yo, I didn't know the opponent. I just got caught with a shot. Things happen."
Yeah, that's boxing.
That's boxing. He lost basically every round, right? He lost basically every round. Got knocked down. I mean, bad. Like his trunks was part of the reason why it looked so bad. Then YSM, when he got knocked down, he did like a half semi, and the front of his trunks went over his chest like a blanket. Like I was just like, bro, I'm like, that's crazy. And then he chose not to engage the rest of the fight. He chose not to try to win. And Shakur Stevenson was 100% right, bro. He was 100% right. Like he chose to survive, and he didn't try to do anything. And to be honest with you, I hate to say it, and I like Chris Colbert. That's the last you won't hear from him. The division too deep. The division is too deep, and they're gonna make him go through the ringer to get back to the top 5 status.
Now, do you think I was telling Jeff they should have put him in there with Tank, bro? Because at least Tank would have got another name.
Yeah. True. Yeah, but they was afraid to make that matchup.
He embarrassed himself.
Yeah,
very legit. Like, first off, he's not a likable guy, and this is a couple of mistakes that he made. First, Wilder has probably the biggest black fan base in America, boxing.
Correct.
Fact.
He antagonized Wilder fans.
Correct.
Then
those Wilder fans are cult fans as well.
Yeah, but exactly. But yes, Wilder has a cult-like following, and that's the following that you're going to need if you're a Black American fighter. You're going to need pieces of Wilder fans, and he antagonized them to the point where everybody was laughing yesterday, and I was one of them. And I'm a diplomatic person, but Colbert pops a lot of shit, and if you're gonna pop shit, you better go out on your shit. He didn't go out on his shit. He gave up.
And that's the worst type of loss.
Right? Jeff, when you talk about the questions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boots has questions.
Absolutely.
And in Shane's mind, I think he's invincible. No, there are questions, Shane. There are questions. Yeah. How does he look past round 6? What happens when he's going up against it with a fighter not close to as dynamic as him? An elite level fighter. We don't know yet. I believe, but I don't know yet.
Yeah. He got it. And the thing is,
And I
he's
believe
not.
as well, bro. I believe as well.
Like I
I
said,
believe as
Shane and
well.
Shane and I say this all the time. Like
I must tell you the truth, yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna make a statement why Sim's on, because why Sim ain't even gonna believe I'm saying this. But the truth is, him versus Tank. I mean him not Tank, him versus Bod and him versus Spence. I'm not gonna lie, bro. If it ain't 50-50, it's 51-49, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. That's how I see those
credit
fights.
to Boots. Which is credit to Boots. It's credit to
Because
Boots because
both
he
of those dudes
hasn't.
are pound for pound top 5.
Yeah, like
Both of those dudes are pound for
Boots.
pound top 5.
Boots, in terms of accomplishments, Boots hasn't done anything to be 50-50 with either one of those guys.
No.
But the thing is, he's so talented, and it's it's obvious. Like the fact that a guy that he's never won a belt or anything like that, he walks into a fight against the two best guys in the division,
Pound
and
for
it's
pound.
pound for pound
In the
top
sport.
5, pound for pound top 5 in the sport, and he's 50-50 with him.
Yeah.
Like betting wise, it's a 50-50 fight. Like it's gonna be
I
minus.
I ain't betting on.
Listen,
he got more chance of beating Bud than he does have beaten.
Listen,
the money's going to come in on him.
Boots is gonna be like no more than like a plus 125.
To be honest with you, I can see that, and all the money would come in on him because that's a situation you can't ignore.
Yeah, and they can't, and see, casinos can't lose. They not gonna lose. They're not gonna get killed on that. So they're not gonna have it where Boots is like a plus 2-1 or 3-1 dog or something like that.
If he was plus 300, I'm putting money. If he was plus 300, I'm putting money on Boots.
No, I'm betting the farm. Listen, if he was like a plus 200-300, I'm betting the farm on him. Yeah. I'm betting the farm on him. Like I'm betting the farm on him. But that's the thing. Like going back to the Chris Colbert thing. Like Chris Colbert. Now I like guys that promote themselves and talk and things like that. Now I think where he went wrong with the Wilder situation is not only does Wilder have a cult following, that cult following spends money on Wilder. They spend bread on Wilder. This fighters that have cult followings and they don't spend no money. No, them Wilder fans, like they spend bread on Wilder. Like they spend, and when I say spend, I'm not only money but time.
The bigger thing with me was I didn't like the fact that he's been around for a few years. And he kicked Wilder when he's down. That's what I don't like. There's one thing talking about Wilder, but you could have talked about Wilder when he was at his best. When he was knocking dudes out, you weren't saying nothing.
Yeah, I just the thing is like, and it's like perception is damn near everything, especially in boxing. You know what I'm saying? And it's just he wanted to take the role of the bad guy. And I'm like, when you take the role of the bad guy, you better be next level with it. And obviously, the guy that he fought last night is either he got different type power. And I look at guys like that and I'm like, you're not a last minute replacement if you nice like that. That's how I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is. But the fact that you went in there, you lost every single round, and then you got knocked down really, really bad, and then you retreated the rest of the fight and didn't try to win. Like, it's bad all the way around. Like, it's just, where do you even go from there? 140 is stacked. 140 is stacked.
You mean 130?
130 is, 130, my bad.
Yeah.
Like, even
140 is stacked, bro. 140 is stacked.
But 130, I'm like, you got guys at 126 that's gonna come up to 130. He got a long way to go. It's the worst type of loss you could take, man. Like, and it's just like, because if you put him up against a turkey, then you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be like, nobody's gonna be like, oh, he back. They're gonna be like, yo, we need to see him in a fight where he's under
him versus Gary Russell at 130.
Russell wins that fight.
Bro, he better not even write Gary Russell's name. He better not even look Gary Russell up on Google. Like, leave that man alone.
He beats none of the Russells the way he looked last night.
He
beats none of the Russells. Like, No.
He don't even beat Russell Westbrook, bro. He ain't even beat nobody.
That's
He
a
ain't
time
beating
stamp.
nobody, bro.
139. 30. That's funny. That's the thing, though. It's like, but that's the beauty of boxing. Like, it's just it can all change in one night. You know what I'm saying? It can change in one night. Why something we was literally saying yesterday. We was like, Josh Taylor went
Josh
from
Taylor.
people's top 5, 6, 7, whatever you want to do. So now I said he looked like an ingredient at 140 right about now, man. He looking like a snack. You know what I'm saying?
I watched YSM's video, so shout out to you. I always watch your post-fight reactions because they're just short and snappy, just like what I want. So I watched it, and I agree with the fact that anybody who thinks Taylor can go up there to 147, because that's what the narrative is out here. For most of the people, they're talking about the robbery, but the people are talking about Josh Taylor, like, oh, he clearly can't make the weight and he'll do much better at 147. I'm like, bro, he's food for a lot of these at 147. Virgil, tees, boots. I mean, I'll put him in there with Conor Ben right now. I'm not even gonna lie. I'll put him in there with a Special K. I'll put him in there with Kell Brook.
Virgil beats him.
Virgil
beats him. Virgil's way too big.
Thurman beats him.
I ain't gonna lie. I think Danny got a good shot.
Put him in there with Kell Brook.
That's what I said. Him and Kell Brook.
I got Kell Brook. YSM. I said outside of the Triple G fight, I'm like, if that fight doesn't happen, I'm like, he probably goes down. He probably goes down as one of the guys that had one of the best jab straight right hands in the game. Like,
he beat Spence.
You can't get. I had him winning before the eye injury. I had him winning the fight before the eye injury.
You're 100% right. If he never goes up to fight Triple G, he beats Spence that night. I'm sorry.
That was the biggest crime Eddie Hearn ever committed.
But you want to know why though? Do you want to know why? Yeah. No one ever understood why. Kell Brook hated Amir Khan. And one thing Amir Khan was always using against him was, I fought Canelo. I moved up and fought Canelo. So in his mind was, okay, I'm going to move up and fight Golovkin. That's what it was, bro. That's what it was.
I know it was that because they was going back and forth on what higher profile name was going.
Yeah. Exactly.
I know what it was. I know what they were doing. But from Eddie Hearn's end, yeah, it was dumb. But the thing with Eddie Hearn, the reason why I said it was a big crime from his end, he literally signed off on that to save the show.
Yep.
Yeah.
He literally signed off on that to save the show. And I'm like, bro, you screwed up a man's career to save a show. Like, and it's just like, no. Like, that's
why you need Al Heyman, bro. And dudes want to denigrate him. Al Heyman's gonna say no.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. But we say all the time. Like, I'd say Eddie Hearn. I'd be like, Eddie Hearn said yes too much.
Who's that young dude at 168 from America? What's that dude's name, man? That young dude from 168. That black dude. The one at yeah. That's like putting him in there with Beterbiev.
Oh, yeah. I was not doing that. Hell no.
Yeah. Like,
that's my point.
That's what I'm saying. People criticize Al. People criticize Bob. But I'm like, there's certain things they're not going to allow to happen. Just it's boxing 101. Like,
do you think Canelo will fight? Do you think Canelo will fight Usyk?
No.
YSM.
Hell no. What? What?
Bro, yesterday we had people saying that Canelo will beat Fury. Was people not saying that in the chat yesterday? People say Canelo will beat Fury.
Don't do that,
bro.
Don't do that.
They're serious.
Dead serious, bro.
They weren't serious. They had to be true.
Bro, some people love Canelo, bro. You gotta understand that. Some people love Canelo.
I understand. Yo, and Canelo is a walking narrative. What Canelo does, there's a certain I'm gonna say this. It's not Canelo. It took me years to realize who it was. It's Eddie Reynoso. Eddie Reynoso's the boss. Eddie Reynoso picks the opponents, and he's the one that says yes or no. And he knows a specific style Canelo is really good in a specific style that he struggles with. So he's going to avoid that other style at all costs.
What do you think about Danny Jacobs, though? When he fought Danny Jacobs?
Honestly, Danny Jacobs fights like a Euro fighter. He doesn't fight like an American.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
No,
I never
that's true.
thought
That's
of that.
true. That's true.
I never
Now, what
thought of
Blunt
that.
did say that before, but that's true. That's true. But,
That's a good point.
but I mean, he hasn't fought like a proper mover. Like, but then Caleb Plant. What about him? Like, he fought Plant. I mean, he don't fight European. He fight. I don't know what he fights.
I would have, if I was Reynoso, I would have been comfortable with that fight. I'd have been comfortable with the Plant fight.
Caleb Plant, like you said, Jeff told me this, and I was kind of hype on that fight. Caleb Plant ain't punching, bro.
I know.
That's the thing. He don't swing with no intent. He just doesn't.
I should have listened.
No intent.
Yeah, did you put money on Plant to win?
No, but in my mind, I'm like, yeah, man, if it's close, America needs a white champion, and he fits all the man.
I was surprised. I was surprised Plant didn't go the distance. So I won't lie. I was surprised Plant didn't go the distance.
No, hey, YSM, you know who I did tell about Caleb Plant, and I spared him the humiliation on the show. Chris.
Yeah.
Oh man, he got.
Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
He got on here, man. Caleb Plant this, Caleb Plant that, Caleb Plant about to do all that. He went to the casino, put some bread down and all that. I said, listen, Chris, come see me Monday. Come see me Monday. And he was in here. I didn't let him in because that's my guy. I said I ain't gonna give it to him. But he did it. Plant did exactly what I thought he was gonna do. I'm like, he wasn't gonna commit to nothing. And I'm like, you have to get outside of the ordinary to actually have a chance against Canelo because you're battling him and you're battling the judges. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I think people like the Charlo matchup. That's why people like the Benavidez matchup because they're more inclined to turn up than a Triple G in a Bivol.
I mean, the truth is, the Bivol fight's gonna be so straightforward. It's gonna be so boring, and it's gonna go 12 rounds, and Canelo's gonna win because he's got so much money invested. But I just feel like it's gonna be so boring that people are gonna just Canelo's not gonna just walk over Bivol. It's just gonna be so boring. It's gonna be every fight Bivol fights is boring.
I'm looking to see how creative Canelo gets offensively. Because the basics is not gonna really get the Bivol. That's what he used to seeing. So I'm kind of curious to see what Canelo game plan is going to be going into the fight. Like, what is he?
Whoa, Jordan Gill just got knocked down. Wow, I'm glad I didn't put money on this dude. I would have lost it.
No, he didn't. Oh shit, I ain't sending you the money. Man,
you would have lost it, bro. He's getting cooked right now.
No, we was gonna bet. No, we was gonna bet that Jordan Gill wasn't gonna get the knockout.
Remember, weren't gonna get the knockout. He's losing, bro. I was gonna bet he was gonna win, but win the point.
Okay, I got you.
He's getting cooked right now. He's about to get stopped. He's fighting some guy called Gurphy. They literally just done a DDT in the ring. He's hugging and holding. Like, he is getting cooked. Another British fighter getting cooked. This dude's Mexican or something.
He fighting a Mexican dude?
Or one of those Latino fights. I don't know where this is from.
Man. Yo, y'all need to. This is no disrespect because I like British boxing. I like the atmosphere. Y'all gotta leave the Mexicans alone. Leave the Latinos alone. Y'all don't know how to fight them properly. Y'all don't know how to fight them.
Because the thing is, I'm like, you can't fight their game, and the British fighters fight a Mexican's game all day long.
Yes,
and
they stand there
in trouble. They just
stand up and down. Jordan Gill is getting cooked right now. I haven't even doing no commentary, but he's got cooked. Getting cooked.
Is this an Eddie Hearn show?
This is Eddie Hearn.
Eddie's got the worst matchmaker.
Bro,
bro, we say all the time, like, Eddie, come holler at us. Like, you need us. Cause I'm like, it's between them and DAZN. I'm like, y'all need to hire us. Cause I'm like, the stuff that y'all do is so boxing 101. Like, y'all go against boxing 101, and that's why they be in a lot of situations they in now. Like Cambosis, like I'm like, there's no way Cambosis is fighting Tiafimo on somebody else. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's crazy. Like, the stuff that they do They gave guys like 1-fight deals and then let them walk with belts. There's no way Bob
Literally,
is allowing that to happen.
no
Or
extension,
Al.
no nothing.
Oh no, Bob gonna get that thing off you like Vince McMahon, baby.
Yeah.
Like,
For
look,
real.
Kambosos came over to the zone for 2 fights. He fought who was the first dude he fought? I can't remember. Selby, and then he fought Teofimo Lopez. And he could just walk off into the sunset. This dude didn't put nothing in the contract in case he won or anything. Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's why I was just saying.
I think this fight's gonna get stopped, by the way. But continue.
That's like with Bob Arum when Manny fought Jeff Horn.
Oh yeah,
he didn't care who won. He didn't care who won the fight because Jeff Horn won. He had 3 options on him. Manny would have won. His contract would have been extended. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he was good either way. Like, but Al and Bob put themselves in a situation where they either gonna win either way, or they just not gonna play. They gonna win or they not gonna play. They not gonna put themselves in position. Now, if they end up losing in a situation, it just happened like that. 9 times out of 10, they don't put themselves in position to actually like lose from the gate. And that's just because they're. And I said this to Shane yesterday. Why I'm like, they're lawyers. They're lawyers. Like, they are lawyers, flat out lawyers. I'm like, and they operate like lawyers. Like Eddie Hearn operate like a true fan.
Yeah,
they operate like businessmen. They operate like lawyers, like a law firm. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between Bob and Al and Eddie. Like Eddie, you could tell Eddie like he could put on one of his favorite fights, but he might lose 750,000. He gonna put that thing on. He gonna put that thing on just because he loved the fight and that's one of his favorite fights. He's like, oh man, 750, I can eat that, no problem. Bob Arum gonna be
he literally that, bro. Look at AJ's career and look how he managed AJ's career. Let's keep it real, bro. Let's keep shout out to YSM, because even when I was in Philly, he was saying this. He didn't think that he wasn't 100% confident that AJ was gonna beat Usyk. Let's keep it real, like. And nobody else takes that Usyk fight. Nobody else is gonna just.
Bro, I told you he should have been paying me from the jump. I said, while you got them belts, I said, drop that belt, let Usyk fight for it. You still can fight a unification fight against Wilder or Fury, and nobody's gonna blink an eye. I said nobody's gonna blink an eye, but I'm like, you want to prove a point.
Y'all was the only ones pushing our narrative. As I remember,
bro.
Yeah, I was like, bro, drop the belt, drop it. I said, drop the belt, drop it.
Look who nobody has invested more money in the Undisputed than Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn's overpaid for everything. He overpaid Charles Martin. He overpaid Klitschko. He overpaid everyone.
It's irrelevant. Jeff, is Manny Pacquiao ever undisputed?
No.
Has Manny Pacquiao ever unified a division?
No.
I realized no. You told me. I didn't even know that.
Has Floyd Mayweather ever been undisputed?
No, he's never been undisputed. Never.
Did it stop them from being elite or making the most money in the sport?
Yeah,
but I get where you're going with this, and obviously what we just saw with Josh Taylor yesterday proves your point even more. As undisputed don't mean much, but but it just helps to add clarity to know who the best in the division is.
And that's cool. Like, and the thing is, that's cool. Like, even take AJ's situation, right? He drops the belt. Usyk fights whoever.
Joe Joyce.
Joe
Joyce for the belt, right? AJ now is handling business with Wilder, Fury, or whatever. More than likely, it's going to be either a 2-fight deal, or if the fights are good, you're talking 3 fights. Usyk has a belt, but Usyk is the unified champion, and he's still the B-side.
Yep.
I know.
That's why I was just like, yo, this is a no-brainer. Just drop the belt. I'm like, if a couple people say you ducking, cool. I'm like, you're ducking Usyk to go get $100 million payday.
And if you go and beat Fury, you're not even gonna remember that you ducked Usyk. Not even gonna remember that you ducked Usyk.
Listen,
you could even use the PR like this, Shane. Oh man, I'm chasing the biggest fights, man. I want Fury. I'm not trying to fight no cruiserweight. You can brush it off like that.
Easy. Just like that.
And YSM, I was only going to charge him the same commission WBC charged to sanction a fight for that advice. I wasn't going to charge them that much. I wasn't going to kill them. I wasn't going to kill their pockets. You know what I'm saying? Like, all they had to do was listen. That's it. So I'm like, now AJ got spanked. Now he's looking at a rematch that he's probably going to lose, and now you out of the running for the Fury fight, Wilder fight, the Dillian White.
You
fight.
lost $100 million or whatever.
$100 million because you trying to prove a point.
Yo, I got a girlfriend, bro. If I lose $100 million, I'm gonna have some problems.
Bro. You in the streets? Yeah, you in the streets. You in the streets. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy. Like some of the moves, he don't make boxing savvy moves, you know, for as big as Eddie Hearn is. Like he needs people to actually handle his day-to-day.
Literally,
he needs somebody to handle his day-to-day, man. Like it's just, I think the way he went about the Andre situation was wrong. The way he went about
me and YSM were talking about the other day as well.
Yeah.
Like, bro, it's a disgrace, and this is a disgrace how he dealt with Andre. It's a disgrace how he's. And personally, if I'm Andre, I'm looking to leave Eddie Hearn, even if I have to join Uncle Bob or something. I don't even know, bro, because Bob Arum even got nobody at those weight classes neither. Bro, I'm leaving Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn has done nothing to help me.
Eddie Hearn is a bag. Like,
what did you say?
Go ahead, why son?
No, I said Jeff and Shane. No, Zach Parker. Those is the kind of fights that you need and want in your career, man.
Ooh! Ooh! Oh my God!
He got knocked out.
Jordan Gill was getting cooked, and he literally just landed an overhand right from hell. Literally just one big punch, bang, and it's over. Literally, Jordan Gill was getting.
He knocked dude out.
Bro, he wasn't. You know, the ref went to Jordan Gill to like the doctors went to see him literally a second ago, and I feel like he just said, you know, I'm gonna just throw one more punch just to see what happens. He threw it and landed, and he'd got knocked smooth out.
Bro,
that's
and
crazy.
You know the thing that's crazy. And big shout out to Jordan Gill. And this is why I be talking about things I be talking about. You see how Jordan Gill was getting his ass whipped. And Jordan Gill made a decision that he was going to try to win this fight. He either going to go out on the field and try to win this fight. Chris Colbert, take notes, because I'm like, you like, not only did he get beat physically, like he mentally checked out. Checked out. Like that's why I'm like, guys that go out on a shield, I'm not gonna really get at them like that. But and Jordan Gill ain't got no power. No power at all. Like nobody, like he could. What was that joint on Fight TV? The professional pillow fighting joint. YSM.
Yeah. I see.
You seen the dude with the purple hair, shoulder rolling the pillow? Like I was cracking up, Like I'm like, Jordan Gill can be in that. You know what I mean? With the punching power.
And Jeff,
the thing is,
the region that Chris Colbert comes from, Shane, Jeff will tell you this. There always been question marks about those fighters' tickers, the region that he comes from. I'm not going to say it on here.
From the same place as Zab Judah.
It's a thing. It's a thing with the whole.
He comes from the same place as Zab Judah.
Yeah, they from the same parts. They from the same.
I thought so.
And the thing is, it's unfortunate.
That's a typical Zab Judah performance. Yes, all the skills in the world, but when they check out, they check out.
And I said Zab was, like I said, he in terms of top 10, top 15 all time. I'm like, he's probably top 10, top 15 all time, and just in terms of just physical gifts. Like Zab had it all. Like the only thing Zab didn't have from a physical standpoint is that he wasn't physically big for the weight. I always felt like he was fighting at a weight class that was just too big for him. When he was fighting at 147, I'm like, bro, this dude should be fighting in like 40 or 35 or something. Like he was always a smaller dude. But yeah, them guys. I mean, Shane kind of gave away the sauce, but those guys, they always got questions about. They always got questions. Like isn't
Riddick both from that same place as well?
Both from NY, ain't he? Hold on.
So.
I'm not 100% sure, but it's.
I mean, you could even say Mike Tyson as well, because Mike Tyson, he done the same thing. He done the same thing against Holyfield.
When they that's what I'm saying. Like when they back get put against the wall, man. Like you got question marks. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, and the thing is, it's not even knocking them because they like some of my favorite fighters, but they just giving people reasons to feel that way or to think that way.
That's why I tell you that. That's why I'm telling you that Aki Abiabuchi would have beaten Riddick Bowe, but you don't believe me.
I would have loved to see the matchup, man. That's still one of my favorite fights of all time, man. Abiabuchi and David Tua. Like, I'm like, if you need to see inside fighting at its finest. Like, you literally could have cut your TV screen in the fourths and you wouldn't have missed nothing. Like, for real, like you could have just put a line across and a line down, and wherever they was at, you wouldn't have missed a second of the action. You'd have got them and the referee all in that one square, and they wasn't moving. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm so glad I didn't put money on that fight. I would have lost.
Bro, we both would have lost because the bet was against Jordan Gill getting a knockout.
Yeah, and he was getting cooked. He wouldn't have won anyway. Because if it went the distance, he still wouldn't have won because he was getting cooked. He was getting cooked.
Bro, it's crazy, bro. Like it's crazy, man. Like that's just boxing. Like it's just that. But that's one of my questions when it comes down to guys. That's why I don't necessarily criticize guys when they get knocked down or they go through
who's
something.
Next week? Who's fighting next week?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. Let me grab my phone. Hold on real quick.
Let me check. See if I can check. Oh, Chocolatito versus Julia Martinez next week. Mauricio Lara's fighting next week. That dude that knocked out what's my dude's name? Warrington. If I'm correct, also Pedraza is next week as well. I think Pedraza not next week. Pedraza Ramirez. I don't know. I can't see it. Doesn't look like it.
I gotta see this shot.
What chat's that?
I want to see the Jordan Gill shot.
Oh, seen, yeah. He was getting cooked, bro. He was getting cooked.
Damn, he hit him with the DDT for real though.
I told you. He was getting backed up in the corner. He wasn't throwing up him back, and the ref was speaking to him like literally 5 seconds before it happened. Like went and checked on him. He was getting cooked.
Bro, you know the thing that's crazy? They showed an angle where they was looking in the background. It looked like Jordan Gill people's getting right throwing the towel.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, there was somebody in Jordan Gill's corner that was standing up looking like he was getting ready throwing the towel. He looked
he was getting
not throwing the towel, but he was getting ready to get up on the apron or something.
Yeah, like he was getting touched. Like they wouldn't have let it continue for much longer. Like literally, he wasn't throwing nothing back. And I said to you, it looked like he might get stopped. And out of nowhere, he just landed a haymaker, bro. Bang.
And the thing is, bro, like people can say all day long, like, yo, You know, you don't want to see your guy go through that type of fight inside the ring. Like under the bright lights. You rather them go through that in the gym. But the thing is, you have to find out how they're gonna perform under them lights. Because anything can happen in the gym during a particular day. You can just have an off day, or you know, you can be a guy to be sparring 12 rounds and you rotate 3-4 different dudes, and the fourth dude, the fresh guy, you don't win 11, 12, you don't win 11 rounds. The fresh dude in there whipping your ass. Somebody walk in the gym and see it, they're gonna be like, oh, he getting his ass whipped. Who that? When they don't know the parameters of what's going on. So it's crazy. Like, big shout out to Jordan Gill and his opponent for that, because it's like, you know, it's sometimes it's just a fight. And that's the problem I had with Chris Colbert. Like, that's the problem I had with Chris Colbert. Like, he just, it was just, not only did he lose the fight, I was just like, yo, I don't think he stood his ground. I don't think he did anything to try to just man up. That was my problem. So I'm like, he can't say anything, because that's beyond like having a bad night. That's beyond having a bad night. Like, you just got manhandled. You got manhandled.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's what it was.
What's up next?
This new kid on the block, Yafai's brother. The Yafai brother.
Oh, that's fighting the 10-rounder.
Yeah. Bro. I'm not gonna lie. This card is actually not entertaining at all.
It's not. It's not. It's really not. It's not. Jordan Gill joint was crazy, but
yeah. What's the topics for tomorrow? I know we spoke about Canelo so much.
Yeah, man, we gotta do Canelo. We gotta cover this weekend's fights. Probably just a recap.
We didn't even speak that much about Russell. I know Russell.
What was your thoughts on him though? I mean, we're gonna get into that tomorrow, but because we can cut this joint if you want. We can cut it if you want. I'm not pressed. Yeah, I'm not pressed. Yeah, we can cut it if you want. What you, before we get up out of here? What was your thoughts on Gary Russell? Just period.
I thought he looked good.
He looked like a champion to you, future champ.
Well, the division's quite deep, so it's hard to tell, bro.
You know what? I look at Gary Russell and I'm like, one of the questions I ask is like, how high is the ceiling? And it's crazy because I'm like, nobody ever does Postal dirty, but you also stated there was a lot of things going on with Postal.
I don't look at him and I think ATG or nothing like that. I don't look at him and think that, but I look at him and think he could be a solid fighter. The thing is, you got people like Montana.
You said Montana? You froze out. My man Shane froze out a little bit. Yeah, Adrian, that was a huge knockout, bro. Huge knockout by Jordan Gill. Yeah, my man completely froze out. Let me get him up out of here. See if he want to come back in real quick. Yeah, he's completely blacked out. Bro.
Yo.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Yeah, but he'll be back in here in a minute. Gary Russell, my opinion on Gary Russell is just like, I think he's I
can hear you now. Go on.
You hear me now? Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Yeah, because I'll get ready to get up off this joint anyway, because my laptop about to do some updates. But Yeah, like I think Gary Russell, like I just think everything about him screams Sean Porter to me. It
Yeah.
screams Sean Porter, like just
Not in terms of
good.
fighting style, but maybe
No,
his
not fighting
prospects of
style,
his
like his
career.
ceiling. Yeah, his
Yeah.
ceiling, like good fighter.
And he will be respected as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Good fighter, good dude. Just you come in, you see him in the ring, he gonna give 110%. But do I see special? No. Do I think he's getting pushed a little too fast? I'm not gonna say yeah, but
Now
I
you
think
can't say that because he beat
yeah,
Postal.
because he beat Postal. Like I think they need to be a little more careful with the matchmaking.
I mean,
They
who would they
again,
put in him? Who would they in that stable at PBC? Who do they have at 140? You know,
I don't know. I don't even know.
AB.
He beats AB.
They put him in with Robert Easter. Just had an accident, so he ain't gonna be fighting.
Yeah.
Bartholomew.
Bartholomew give him problems. But depending on which Bartholomew show up though, Bartholomew he just man, he on some other stuff. Sometimes he's still a part of one of the most boring fights I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, him and Robert Easter.
Him and Robert Easter. Oh my god, like that was a straight dentist appointment, man. Like for real,
Bro, I can't even say dentist appointment, bro. Flipping jury duty.
That's jury duty, and you got picked. For real, man. Like it's crazy. Damn, you know what? The thing that's crazy, I think I got jury duty coming up.
Me as well, bro.
Bro, I think I got do I got jury duty tomorrow? I think I got jury duty tomorrow.
I got jury duty in August.
Yo, I got jury duty. I think I got jury duty tomorrow, which is crazy. But yeah, we can get up out this drink, man. We're gonna be with y'all tomorrow. Episode 65 of the Goodfellas podcast, man. Shane, give me your social media, bro.
I understand. I'm saying the number one. We didn't really. The live today wasn't really cooking like that. I understand it's a Sunday. Nobody really wants to be watching no boxing on Sunday. So
yeah, but we had to jump in here, for sure, man. Catch me all over the place, man. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, G5JeffTV, website G5JeffTV.com. Go subscribe to Vlogs channel. Big shout out to Boxing First Vlog. So on behalf of VP Shane, my guy YSM Sports Media, aka Millie, Boxing First Vlog, your boy G5 Jeff TV. Please tune in with us tomorrow, episode 65 of the Goodfellas podcast, man. We out.